Okay, so we are going to learn about the equation of a circle. The equation of a circle is not pi r squared, that's what everyone's first thing is. It's actually, if you were to plot a circle on a graph, it identifies where your center point is of your circle and what your radius is. So then you can actually draw a circle on a coordinate plane. So the actual equation of your circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared, and it equals your radius squared. So anytime you see that minus in an equation, that means the opposite. So make sure you're paying attention that it's the opposite of your x.
Ms. Corbett, can you call the front office? Ms. Corbett, can you call the front office, please?
And the opposite k. So your center point is h comma k. So your x value is h, your y value is k, and then your radius is r. So we're going to determine the center and radius. From our equation. So if we were given the equation x minus 2 squared plus y plus 5 squared, and we said that equals 100, we're going to be asked what the center is and what the radius is. And we should just be able to pick it right out of the equation. So our center is our 2 and our 5. But remember, it's the opposite. So because it's the opposite of h, so if this says minus 2, that means our center is at positive 2. And since it's the opposite of positive 5, so that's negative 5. And 100 is our radius squared, so our 100 gives us a radius of 10. Okay, so if we have x minus 8 squared plus y squared and said that equals 25, we know that our center, if we have not 0, okay, so we have 8, 0. This is our radius squared, so our radius has to be 5. And one more example gives us x minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared, and that equals 16. I'm sure you can easily fill this in yourself. Okay, so our center's 2, 3. Radius of 4, because 4 squared is 16. So look at our equations of a circle. Notice they are found by factoring. It's completing the square. I don't know if you remember that from algebra, but this is a big algebra skill. And so we're going to need to remember how to factor by completing the square. It is going to take you probably a little bit of practice remembering, and so you might have to watch this video a few times. You might even have to go back to Miss Simon's YouTube channel. But we're gonna determine the equation. Of a circle by completing the square. To identify the center and radius. Okay, so if we have x squared minus 2x plus y squared minus 4y minus 4 equals 0. Alright, completing the square. Step 1. Move all your constants to the other side of our equation. So remember, your constants are just your plain numbers. They don't have any variables. So that's this plus this 4. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. And that'll cancel out that 4 and bring it to the other side of our equation. So we'll have x squared minus 2x plus y squared minus 4y equals 4. Okay, so step 2. You're going to divide the coefficients by 2. And square it. So our coefficients are negative 2 and negative 4. So we're going to take our negative 2, divide it by 2, which equals negative 1. Squared equals 1. Negative 4 divided by 2 equals negative 2. You square it, equals 4. Step 3, add your perfect squares. to both sides of your equation. Okay, so here's our perfect square. Is our 1 and our 4. So we have x squared minus 2x plus y squared minus 4y plus 4 equals 4, and don't forget you have to add 1, add 4. So since we added it to our left side, we have to add it to our right side to keep our equation balanced. And last step, 4, factor using the number prior to squaring. So our -1 and our -2 is our factored. So we'll have x minus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 4 plus 4 plus 1 is 9. Okay, so ultimately, remember, we were doing this so we could identify what our center point is of our circle and what our radius is of our circle. So what is our center? And what is our radius? Well, our center is our -1, -2, which is really the opposite of -1, and -2 is +1, +2. And our radius is the square root of 9. Which is 3. Alright, so that's as far as I want to go with this today. I would rewatch this video, maybe just at least that completing the square part as many times as you need just to get the steps down. You have your notebook maybe from last year, maybe go back and review some of that. But definitely that completing the square, it's a lot of steps, it's a lot of remembering, so just make sure you have that down. You will be practicing it, but it's always good to make sure you have it as much as possible, so that way you're not struggling. And we will practice this and plotting the circle and everything else. So hope this made sense to you. If you have any questions,